Hey, what's going on, animation fans? My name is Citrin, and welcome back to Fireside Forge, which is an animation podcast, in case you couldn't tell. I didn't know where to go after that, so guys, please help me.
For our guests, we have me, Tanglecolors, we have Crankycorvid, or Yonder, we have Atlas, or otherwise known as Philip, and we have Sarah. We're all members of a studio called ThornForge, and we just wanted to bring this podcast to you guys just as some extra material so you can get to know us, and also so we can have a good time. The topic for today is how did we all get into art, or what inspires us? I'm using art in the most broadest way possible because we have a lot of people in here who don't do visual art or animation. Did anyone want to start, or should I start? Okay. Basically... Yeah, okay. I actually went into this in the video that I made about how I became a furry, but, I actually grew up, like, watching a lot of animated movies, especially with animals in them, and I just felt like, because I didn't have a lot of deep connections with other people, I feel like movies and shows were, like, the only time where I had, like, a very deep and visceral, like, emotional reaction to things, and I always wanted to, like, make things that made other people feel the way that I felt after, like, watching a movie or a really good show. And I think after that, I, like, got into online communities like DeviantArt, I think, and got into roleplay groups and stuff like that. And basically, art just kind of... art kind of took over my life, not only as a means of entertainment, but also as a means of expressing myself as well, because I couldn't really do that very well as a child. And I think even now, when I can't express myself in words, or I don't really know what I'm feeling, I will try to draw it out. But yeah, I love animating and art. It's freaking awesome.
I got
Anyone
a
else
question
want to go?
actually, just for you. What was, since you mentioned animal-based,
Cool.
the movies and stuff? What would you say was the number one animal-based movie that impacted you the most to want to create art?
I know what she's gonna say.
You probably know what she's gonna say.
Is
but I feel like
Zootopia.
I'm gonna ask. Okay, so I personally feel that she's gonna say Robin Hood because everybody says Robin Hood, but this is that's the
Nope.
thing.
Can I guess?
You can guess, yeah.
Is it How to Train Your Dragon 2?
It was How to Train Your Dragon 2 made me go to art school.
Yeet!
Because, like, literally, I was not sure what I wanted to do. Like, I knew I wanted to do something art-related, but I just, like, couldn't figure out where to apply. But, like, when we went to see How to Train Your Dragon 2, I was, like, so incredibly, like, starstruck that by the end of the movie, I was like, I want to do that. Like, I want to make that.
I thought when you said, like,
But I think also Kung Fu Panda 2 was also a very huge inspiration for me.
Yes.
So I thought you were gonna say something that had more, like, animals and more anthro tendencies around them.
I love
because,
Kung Fu Panda
because
too. We stand.
you being the furry and all that jazz, and the fursuits and the dancing and the furling. So
Says the one with a wolf persona.
No, but listen, I got.
Yeah,
okay,
TBH.
listen, my wolf persona slaps. Leave him alone.
That's true.
But
I thought so. When you said How to Train Your Dragons, I was actually a little surprised because I thought it would have been something heavier. Then when you said Kung Fu Panda 2, I was like, okay, no, this falls exactly what lined in. But
yeah, it's basically both of them though, just in different ways.
fair.
I think.
It's totally fair.
So you're a DreamWorks simp. Got it.
DreamWorks simps.
Yeah, we grew up watching
Shrek's
DreamWorks
the
movies because.
Die.
I mean, like, I wasn't really into Shrek because there weren't, like, that many animals. Even though I stand Puss in Boots and the spin-off movie that he got, like, Let's Go.
No love for
Love that
Madagascar?
movie.
I'm crying.
Okay, Madagascar also slaps. I love the second one.
I can't stand the freaking egg in the Puss in Boots movie. I hate it so much.
Yeah, I was like, if you could just make it about Kitty Softpaws and, like, Puss in Boots, that would be, like, the goat for me. Like, I don't want to see the egg.
Villain.
I think the egg was like, I think, the one guy I was so excited to see die. I saw him die and I went, yes!
That's a villain.
Let's go!
Perfect villain.
Jan said no uggos in my movie, please.
Lego my ego. That's what Puss said when, like, he let him go. Lego my ego.
Oh my gosh.
And then he falls.
That movie was a meme. Let's be real. Bunch of dancing cats.
Okay, yeah. So, like, going back to the DreamWorks thing, though, Sit and I grew up on DreamWorks movies, and we didn't see a lot of Disney movies. And apparently, according to a conversation I had with my mom, she purposefully did not show us Disney movies because she was like afraid that watching princess movies was like gonna make us weak or something, which I think is freaking hilarious. But like, yeah, so
I really
didn't know
don't
that as a
think
child.
I don't think Disney movies would have prevented this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I still
it's
simp
like you
hopelessly
gotta-
for men. It didn't help.
You oh, okay.
I watch princess movies and I can't
But,
touch
yeah.
those nails.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep talking, soft boy.
My emotions are valid.
Silence, soft boy.
I'm being bullied. This podcast, I just want to say, is sponsored by Extreme
is-
Sexist because I'm the only male here.
Philip, dude, you're the only male hyena
gonna-
in a den of female hyenas. I'm not sure what you expected to happen.
We're changing the podcast name to Bullying Philip. That's yeah.
That's the name of my biography. Let's be real.
No.
Yeah, pretty
Oh,
much.
baby.
Now that's just sad now. I can't continue that.
We
You can't keep doing the bit if it's gonna make us sad.
should have watched
Yeah.
some princess movies, you punk.
Gosh. I did end up watching them later. I don't know about Sid, but I did end up watching a lot of them later, and I was like, they're okay.
Yo,
like,
maybe I'm too much of a furry, but like Beauty and the Beast freaking slapped.
I think that's entirely
Because you're
because you're
scary.
afraid.
Let's be
Dude,
real.
but
Wow.
like, okay, first of all, that scene where they're like dancing in that ballroom was
That
killer.
scene?
And second of all, Beast was killer.
Oh my god, this is not the Simp
That's true.
channel.
When
We're
he
talking
turned
about
into a
art.
human, I was like, yo, I was wrong.
Honestly, okay, I was disappointed when
Yeah,
he turned
I was
into a
so
human.
wrong.
Yeah.
No, I do gotta admit, as a
Yeah.
beast, he,
That was a
the
downgrade,
beast was
TBH.
definitely a lot sexier than his human form. Even I gotta admit that as a straight
Fill
white
up.
male.
I'm ah.
Desist.
I don't know what y'all expected. You invited me to this podcast. I'm in the podcast. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was my first
TBA. Just should have
mistake.
seen this coming.
That was an L, self L.
at least we can say our studio got some colorful folks attached to it versus your standard Disney film just has racism attached to it. So
Dang.
Haha, colored
it's-
buttons.
I'm so funny. I'll be here all week, folks. All right, I guess.
Yeah. Wait, can we get some like non-art folks or non-visual art folks to talk about
You got two of them
like
here.
what got them
Do you
into
want to go?
stuff?
I'll go.
Yeah.
So if you haven't figured out by now, I'm Philip. I am male. I'm white. I'm bullied. But I'm also the it's facts, right? I'm also the head writer for the studio. If you don't know that now, I don't draw at all. Period. And when I do, it's like stickmen or really disgusting looking things of Pippa, which I've shown the studio once, and I'll probably never ever show again because it's just, it's bad. So I got into writing though, and what really got me into writing was twofold, kind of like how Tangle had her How to Train Your Dragons 2, and she had her Kung Fu Panda 2. I had history and Bionicle, and that is probably two of the most far-flung links from each other as you could possibly imagine. But for me growing up, I've always adored history, learning history, because for me it wasn't just this dull subject about this happened and this happened, this happened. They were stories about people that lived and died. It was stories about drama and tragedy and romance and comedy. And the thing is, it actually happened. There's real people went out and did things, and they did these marvelous things, or they did these terrible things, but they got remembered for doing things, whether it was good or bad. And just history was a story of that happening, and basically it was a story being written leading up to where we are today as humanity, as mankind. And to me, that always just like super fascinated me to read these stories and really just like I'd sink my teeth in it and identify with these people. I guess you could, the cool kids these days call that a history kin or whatever, but boy. But the second part was Bionicle. So all the cool kids know what Bionicle is, but some people might not. Bionicle is a toy line put out by the Lego company starting from 2001, and it ran for almost a decade. The entire idea was biological robots that did stuff. They're just like running around collecting masks and defeating evil and having romance until they gutted that and nerfed it. Thanks, Greg. And all these different things that were going on. With you laugh, but it is a serious tragedy. Anyways,
I
I'm sure.
The fact that there was shipping in Bionicle, like, honestly throws
No,
me
man, the
for a loop.
original
whiplash.
2001 to 2003 animations like clearly showed up like actual ships that everyone was riding on, and then all of a sudden the Lego company was like, "Whoa, we can't have the robots kiss," and got rid of that, and I was pissed. Anyways, like
No robots kissing.
No
no
Romo.
Robo.
No,
So they got
I'm going to kill you with arrows in Minecraft.
so the heckin' God, what is it? Bionicle, you get the Lego sets and stuff, and then you can actually make your own stories with them. Instead of having Makuta be defeated by the Toa Nuva, you could have Makuta beat the Toa Nuva or something. Like, just go with these links. And eventually, I was just, I had a ton of Bionicles. I had like something like 35 unique Bionicle sets at any given point, and I would tear them apart and make new ones and make my own Toa and make my own villains and do all this crazy stuff with it. And I would create my own stories, and eventually that led me into actually just writing it out. The first few stories I wrote out, I did with a pen and a old notebook I had, and I would actually write out these stories, and there'd be like scribbles where I spelled something wrong, or like, oh, this sucks, and I'd like scribble out an entire paragraph, and I'd write a new paragraph and things like that. They were awful, but at the time, I thought I was the hottest thing on the planet with my writing, like any 9-year-old thinks he is. And so that's where I really got into writing. Eventually, I ended up on a Bionicle website forum known as BZ Power, and I started sharing my writing there and started getting feedback and reading other people's writings and stuff like that. And that's where I actually started to grow as a writer. And these days, I don't actually do any more Bionicle fan fictions, but I could say that it was definitely rooted in my love for writing and wanting to write. It was rooted in reading the stories of those that came before us, and also the desire to create stories in a world of something I truly loved. And that blending together really created my fascination and love for writing.
Wow, that's pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah, it beats the crap out of How to Train Your Dragons.
Yeah, that kind of makes my
No. No dissing How to Train Your Dragon. That's like my favorite thing ever.
Yeah,
Especially not the second one.
I've seen 2 of them. I've not seen the third one.
You gotta write our How to Train. So you gotta write our How to Train Your Dragon and Bionicle crossover fic now.
Okay.
Oh,
okay,
gosh.
Okay.
You know what? Can
So
I please, Tangle? Can I please
I'm
go on a
writing
tangent?
Avatar: Last Airbender rewrite, except there's going to be characters like Lightning McQueen and Mad Max, and actually Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragons is actually going to show up in it.
I'm going to kill you in Minecraft.
That is extremely cursed, but can I please go on a tangent? I need to do it.
Sure.
Okay, listen. As someone who is extremely passionate about fanfiction and has been since I was way too young to be reading fanfiction, I have one thing to say. Crossover fanfiction is cringe. You can fight me on the show. You can fight me in the comments. I don't care. It is cringe. It is not the same thing. It is not the same thing. If you do an AU, that's different because the characters from thing A and the characters from thing B will never meet. If you do a crossover where the characters from thing A and thing B interact, I will kill you. It's horrible. It will not work.
Okay, I have one.
Go, Jan. You haven't talked yet.
Okay, I have one question for you. Okay, so what is your opinion on the Jimmy Neutron, Timmy Turner crossover episodes?
Okay.
Oh my god.
If the crossover happens in canon, you can do it.
Okay, but here's the thing, right?
Like, I know I just
You
greenlit...
just don't want fan crossover.
Basically, but I know that by saying that, I just greenlit Steven Universe Uncle Grandpa crossover fanfiction.
Here's the thing.
Cursed.
You're allowed to have your opinions, even if they're wrong. Go wild,
right.
fanfic creators, write whatever you want.
She is right.
There is only one bed. You heard it here first, folks.
No.
Okay, that's
What?
There's
good,
only one
though.
bed is a great trope, and I'm not saying don't write the fic. I'm not even saying don't post the fic. All I'm saying is that it's
You're
cringe.
cringe.
You can do whatever you want.
You're not even any.
After all, why shouldn't I post
I am
cringe?
not a Therian. I have Therian tendencies.
Damn.
It's not the
TBH, I
same.
do too.
Oh my
I'm not gonna
God.
lie.
I quit the studio. I'm
It
quitting the
just be
studio.
that way.
You can't quit.
Philip,
Once
no.
you join, you're here for life.
Welcome to
It
the
sucks,
first podcast and only
buddy.
podcast, because the studio broke up over this.
Over crossover fanfiction.
Gosh, I feel like also like I was thinking about How to Train Your Dragon 2 again because it lives rent free in my mind, but I think it also made me passionate about like adult animation because there was so much that both Kung Fu Panda 2 and How to Train Your Dragon 2 were trying to do, but like probably couldn't do to the extent that they wanted because it was for children. And like you can't do the typical like bright colors marketing with both of those movies. And I was like, I really would like it if we could do like mature animation with these more mature stories with like emotional depth and not just like singing killed my grandmother. Like that would be nice. Like, I'm throwing shade at trolls right now. I'm so sorry.
Yo,
the animation hit though.
It did.
Doesn't matter how looks if the
gosh,
quality
that
sucks.
I never saw those movies.
I saw the first one.
It was so painfully mediocre.
Honestly. Yeah. The animation and the texturing really did hit. Like, it hit different. But like, the story is garbage.
Yeah, I was about to say, animation is only a vehicle for telling a story. So it's like, if the story booty, there's only so good a movie can be.
Yeah. No, but like, you bring up a really excellent point where where it's like, you see all these interesting stories that could be touched on in like kids animation, but you can tell they want to do more. Yeah, I really relate in that sense where I'm kind of drawn to like the adult animation scene because of that as well. Primarily anime, just because anime kind of.
Is it time for me to go off about Makoto Shinkai now?
Can I have 2 seconds?
We need to let you talk.
Sorry.
Can I have 2 seconds?
Sorry, I literally.
I'm trying to make a clever segue into my intro, and you're just like.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay, Tangle. I love you.
I have gremlin brain.
Because as I've been growing up, kind of getting into art and junk, I've always been like the kid that likes the edgier. Like I'm like your typical like 14-year-old edgy kid with like the wolf OC, except it wasn't wolves. It was like warrior cats and junk, and then it turned into dragons and wolves. And actually no, I have a wolf now. I entered my wolf phase like really late. I'm like 24 and I finally have a wolf OC. It took me freaking forever.
Let's go.
But for me, my inspiration for like storytelling and whatnot didn't really come from film a whole lot. I'm more so like kind of lean. I'm more of the game dev kind of. That's where my passion is. A lot more in like the game side of things. But the storytelling kind of happens to correlate both to like film and video games. So like I like both fields, but most of my inspiration comes from like video games and junk. Like because for me, creatures and critters are my passion. Like, I was always the person who, like, I was bullied as a kid, didn't have friends as a kid. I was the person who would go up and befriend, like, the neighbor's cat or something. So, like, I instantly became more drawn to, like, animal fiction, stories that, like, starred animals, that had tons of animals in them. And, like, growing up with Pokemon, for me, like, the allure of that was always, like, the little creatures. Not necessarily battling them, not necessarily, like, doing whatever, but just going out and collecting them and seeing like the variety of just how different everything was, how alive the world was. And I actually didn't get into art until maybe, I want to say it was like mid-high school-ish, because it was around like, because of my love for animals, I was like, oh, I want to be a marine biologist. Oh, I want to be this. Oh, I want to be that. So my love for animals was always there to begin with. It just began to manifest a little bit differently as time went on. Like in middle school, I began to want to write stories. And then I don't really know what happened, because I actually ended up writing like a script for a novel. I mean, it was a decent length, but it was garbage because it was written in like middle school / early high school. So like it's somewhere buried. It's terrible. It stars dragons. It has like edgiest and stupid like maybe one day I'll try and dig up the script, or actually no, I think it's like buried on a computer that got like tossed out, so that's gone.
Yeah.
Anyway, so sometime in the middle of high school it was. I don't remember why. I think it was I got interested in like roleplay blogs and stuff, that I started like doing a lot of artwork, and that's where it clicked with me. Okay, I still want to tell stories. I'm just so much more passionate about a visual format. And that's what now draws me to film, to gaming, just both of those spheres. And then, of course, my love for creatures only expanded and grew. And once I was old enough to be introduced to, like, not so child-friendly, how would I explain? I still need to watch The Thing. That would be a great example, but I still haven't watched it, so I can't really use it as an example.
Movie.
It is a good movie, even though I haven't watched it, but I'm sure it's a good movie.
You
Alien, I don't know. Things of that nature, where I began to realize just how extreme and crazy those concepts could get, that I knew that's where I belonged. I just knew. I think that for me, what really sold it for me, like the make and break that, okay, I have to design creatures or I'm going to spontaneously combust, is when about 2 or 3 years ago. So this is the concept designer for Subnautica, which is a indie dev game. It kind of it's blown up a bit. You guys have probably heard about it at this point.
That's
At least
the one
from
where
huh?
stuck in the perpetual water level, right?
Basically, and it's like
so
spooky, but it's awesome. The concept designer actually came to our class to answer questions to kind of show like the different stuff he had worked on. And after
Nice.
seeing the stuff that he had worked on, the stuff he had created, his work process, it just everything fell into place. I knew I had to work in just in an environment where I could go absolutely buck wild with the creatures. That I wanted to make a world that wasn't just like fantasy. Okay, it's a dragon, it just kind of exists. It's more like I wanted to make sense. I wanted to be grounded. I wanted to be authentic and believable. And that's what drew me into Subnautica. I'm a huge Monster Hunter fan for that same reason.
Let's go!
Let's go!
Gang,
Just
gang,
from like
squad up!
the you know the designs, the world building, the just everything in it is just so alive and real, and I can feel it. Like this is where I'm meant to be. Like I don't know how else to explain it. That's just it.
like-
It's just me.
Y'all have really detailed stories, and I feel like I made mine really simple.
Just because the story's simple doesn't make it any less. Sometimes the simpler
That's true.
stories are the better ones.
But like I'm always the it's that deep person, but like I didn't make
Now
it
you're
that
like,
deep that time. I feel like I'm off
Maybe.
brand now.
I feel like it's
You'll have
just
plenty of other
that
opportunities
sometimes
to be
our
deep.
way into art can be very simple, but then what we do after that can be deep, and sometimes our way into art's very deep, and after that we just want to make simple art. I know a lot of people that art helped them through some very traumatic times in their life, but all they do these days is draw the same sun and field picture over and over again because that's what they like to do, and it's real simple, but it's still art. So I mean,
That is true. Art is
so just like,
subjective
don't
to the not to the viewer, but to the artist themselves and how they're using it. And
Okay, you mentioned Warrior Cats though, and I was like losing it because I also really love Warrior Cats, and
Well,
like yeah,
like, because like I grew up reading it, and that's essentially what got me into wanting to be a writer initially, and then I discovered I liked drawing more.
I really like it was really like obviously the Warrior Cat books are not like necessarily the best written sometimes, but I feel like that was my first time like encountering a very like immersive like world building experience like in a thing
That wasn't
because
human
it's just like
related.
yeah, that wasn't human. Also, like they're surprisingly violent for books that are supposed to be for children too.
Yeah,
bro,
I have to wonder. It's
Yeah.
like, why do I draw all this blood and guts? I look at like, look back at like how Tiger Star gets ripped in half, and it's like, oh, that explains it.
Yeah, or how Swiftpaw gets killed by the dogs.
Jeez, I've never read Warriors. Like, I never grew up reading that kind of stuff because I grew up reading the Bionicle books because there's Bionicle books too. Um, but yeah, I'm writing a Warriors fanfic right now.
No.
Oh
Yes,
no.
I'm still working on. So the thing is, the idea was to go into totally blind writing it with the idea that there's kung fu kitties doing kung fu kitty things. But beyond that, I had no idea anything about Warriors, and everyone kept talking about like Briarheart and Dawnstar and Tiger something Butt or something like that, and how tragic it was he didn't marry somebody. Like I don't know, like
Oh,
obviously.
you're talking about Brambleclaw and Squirrelflight. That's you're not talking about Tiger Star.
Okay, listen.
I
was
mean,
just making up the
Brambleclaw
names.
is
Are these
basically a
legit?
Tiger Star clone. I'm sorry.
Anyways.
Yeah, there's like 5 million Tiger Star clones. That's all you need to know.
So, like, just get into it. It's like, and then the more I've like learned about warrior cats, I was like, this is for children. Like, they have these badgers committing genocide on worms and stuff like that. Like, this is really
Wait,
weird.
what?
And like dog attacks.
Like, Sarah, this book is like extremely violent, and it's like written for
Oh, they're so
like,
violent.
5-year-olds.
There's a deaf kit that gets carried off by a hawk because he couldn't hear his mother telling him to take shelter. It's like some stuff.
That's heartbreaking. What the heck?
Unlocked really repressed memories.
As a little kid,
And this is just a normal Tuesday.
Like, hell yeah, kids dying.
It's so I love it.
I will mention. I think that like my first introduction to like the most wholesome couple ever in existence in media is still Cloudtail and Brightheart.
Honestly, go off. They are so good.
They're so good. It's like,
Yeah.
what's your ideal relationship? I point directly at them. I
for
want
people
me a
who
man
don't
like
know.
that.
For Philip and Sarah who might not know, so Brightheart and Cloudtail were a couple, and then Brightheart ends up getting attacked by dogs, and like half of her face is like ripped off basically, and basically Cloudtail just simps even harder, and he's like, no, I still love you, and he's like defending her against Blue Star, who wanted to rename her Lost Face, and like basically he is goals. They are very cute.
Blue Star went off the freaking deep end.
Yeah, Blue Star went crazy.
That is so cute.
So wait, you could get
She went Coco in the logo.
You get renamed if something bad happens to you. If like
That's like a
do
single instance because she was having a crisis and decided to take it out
Blue
on
Star
Brightheart.
basically went like nutso, and she basically just took it out on people.
Oh, so he was like a real douche.
Well, but yeah, she had some stuff going on though. She had a time.
But she managed to fix it up around the end for the most part.
She got it together.
This is why you should always remember to spay and neuter your cats.
Literally, okay. Speaking of that, though,
you're not wrong.
literally, the way that Blue Star gets Fireheart to join, or he's Rusty at the time. The way that Blue Star gets Rusty to join the warrior clans is like basically she was like, oh, you haven't been to the vet yet, so he hasn't been like spayed, and so you should come with us or else the cutter will get you, and he was like, alright, cool. So yeah, basically that's why.
You said spayed. I just want to correct you. Males get neutered, females get spayed.
Oh my bad.
It's called snip
Yeah,
snip.
he hadn't been neutered. It's called the cutter, actually.
I was gonna make a really cursed joke, but I would have definitely had to censor it out. So you know what? We're just gonna leave that.
This is a perfect segue to go into Sarah talking
Oh.
about her introduction to art.
Is it a perfect segue?
It's
No,
not
it's
really
not.
a segue.
That was
I wanna
No,
get us back
but
on track.
please.
That was like a
Save
bulldozer.
us.
Cool. So for people who don't know, I'm Sarah. I'm one of the, so far, 2 composers for ThornForge Studios. And talking about how I got into art, we have to go all the way back. My mom played flute in high school. And so she played for me when I was a baby, and I do not remember this. But I've always loved the sound of the flute, and I really think it's because my mom played for me when I was little. So ever since I can remember, I was just absolutely begging my mom to learn to play the flute, and she didn't think that it was going to happen. She didn't think music was going to stick, so she wanted me to try other instruments first. So we had a piano, so my mom tried to teach me piano, and I got really frustrated because my hands were too small and I couldn't reach the keys, and I was like, no. So then my mom got a recorder, because recorders are $3. That's cheap.
Oh gosh, I remember we had to do that in school.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I'm
Hot cross buns,
hot
baby.
cross buns. I can still play it. My mom gave me a recorder, and I didn't practice a whole lot. But after a year of not touching it, I could still read music, and I remembered what the note fingerings were. So my mom was like, "Oh, okay. I guess you are a musician. I will get you a flute now." So she pulled her flute out at first, just so that I could try it and see, and I didn't remember that she had a flute, so I apparently fell over backwards and was completely surprised. But I started learning flute when I was 9, and then that just I took off. I absolutely loved the flute, practiced every day, learned music super quickly, figured out a lot. In the process, I picked up piano again in junior high. I tried cello in high school. I've never stopped playing the flute. I would just keep adding more music things. I joined a flute choir in high school, and that was a lot of fun. So it's for those who don't know, a flute choir is like a choir of flutes, and you have different kinds of flutes. So you have the piccolo, which is like the highest, shrillest flute. It really hurts your ears. But there's also an alto flute and a bass flute that can go like really down, deep, low. And you can get like this really heavenly sounding choir from just a bunch of different flute instruments. So I started arranging music.
Sounds kick-ass.
It's really cool. I love flute choir. Flute choir is like amazing. But I started arranging Disney princess music for flute choir. And I really liked arranging music. And this is going to sound so petty, but there was a guy in the flute choir who wrote his own music and did his own arrangements. And the reason I started doing my own arrangements were because I really hated playing his arrangements and compositions because they were really boring.
Drag him! Public podcast drag him! What's his name? His address? The viewers want to know.
No.
Oh my god.
I'm not going to go there. But anyways, I just, I struggled. I had a hard time. So I started arranging what I wanted to play. And everyone in the flute choir really liked what I wrote, and I tried to give, like, everyone a piece of the melody, because that's something, if you play in a flute choir, if you're fourth flute, you're likely to not play the melody, and your part's going to be more boring. So I kind of tried to change it up, give everybody the melody here and there. Arranging music eventually led me to start trying to compose. So senior year of high school, I started writing pieces for flute choir. They got played in a concert. They were a huge hit. I had a great reaction. I was really surprised. So then comes college. I decided to be an engineering physics major because I liked math, and I was like, cool, engineering seems good. I was miserable the entire year. So my second year at college, I was like, nope, I'm going to try music. That's been my lifelong passion. I didn't want to major in music because it can be, like, super competitive and awful, and I was like, I don't want to, like, be torn down by people my entire life. But I decided to try it, and actually the music department at my college was super supportive and really loving and, like, great people, and it was an amazing experience. So I was a music composition major. I have my bachelor's degree in composition. And film scores are what has always inspired me, especially like Hans Zimmer or John Williams or John Powell.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Let's go! Let's freaking go!
She really unmuted.
Oh,
She really
Yes,
herself
because
to say, "Let's
like
go."
they composed for How to Train Your Dragon
Star
and
Wars.
Kung Fu Panda, and I stand
Yes.
literally. Okay, I don't normally buy or download movie soundtracks, but you bet your behind that I have both Kung Fu Panda 2 and How to Train Your Dragon 2
Oh,
soundtracks.
yes.
Like, I know where they are. I listen to them and they
Same.
go off.
How to Train Your Dragon
Let's go.
was a turning point in my life, actually. So, like, when you were talking about How to Train Your Dragon earlier, I was, like, really biting my tongue to not, like, take over. How to Train Your Dragon for me was, like, a turning point in my life. I sat there for the first movie and was completely floored. It was the first time I'd ever noticed a soundtrack in a movie. So just sitting there in the theater, I was like, oh my gosh, this music is amazing. And that was kind of like the moment I realized, oh, movies have music in the background. So I bought that score. I read all the How to Train Your Dragon books. I have them on my shelf next to me. There's 12 of them. They're amazing. But, like, I love How to Train Your Dragon. And those scores,
It's so
like,
good.
I have the scores for all 3 movies. I have, like, one of the For Your Consideration scores, so it's, like, not even technically released. I got it from a friend. I don't know if I'm supposed to have it. It's but it's so good. I love these scores, and I have to say that's what really got me interested in writing for animation and just writing for film in general. And my life is kind of taking a different direction. I'm thinking career-wise, I'm going to get into teaching, but my dream job is film composing, and I'm really excited to, like, work at this studio and do music stuff for you guys.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yes,
You're
music
gonna make
is
me
like
cry. That's so sweet.
another thing that I wish I could get into music. It's just I've tried to. I just don't have like the motivation and the discipline to get into it. Because like I'm one of those people where I have like like story playlists, character playlists. Like, if it is quiet in the house, I cannot function for the most part. I think like 99% of the time there's music going. If I have like, if I'm doing like some 3D modeling, I have like my big old Metroid playlist going or something. I might have that one song that I'm obsessed with like on loop. It's just music is such a amazing way of portraying mood and thematics and emotion in a way that I can't like create it myself, but I can say that I very much appreciate it. So applause
Music people are powerful.
to you.
Yeah.
I
think I can
that...
sing, but like I can't do technical stuff with music. I'm terrible at it.
Terrible at instruments. Terrible.
Just go, this sounds nice.
I only know enough about Audacity to produce this podcast and very little else.
Did any of you guys ever try to like mess with GarageBand or anything?
Yeah, in middle school.
I don't think so.
That.
If I have to do like,
I tried to take a sight reading class.
Ooh,
it was terrible. Because like I was in my school's high school a cappella group, and like I couldn't read music, but if you sang something to me, I could sing it back to you with perfect pitch. So that was like the reason they let me in, even though I couldn't read any music. But nice. I tried to learn like sight reading music because I'd always wanted to try it, and I figured it would make it easier on the director if he didn't have to like make sure that I heard everything just so that I could repeat it back. But I was like, this doesn't make any sense to me at all. Like, I don't get it. Like, how do you know where to start and yada, yada, yada. And I feel like I asked so many, like, complex questions that, like, the teacher didn't really know how to answer that I was like, oh, okay. But
for those of you who are listening in, because I have to flex, we were both part of the same high school a cappella group, just at different times, because she's 3 years older than me, so we couldn't be in there at the same time.
Yeah.
But
I keep forgetting you're a minor.
I'm not... Wait a minute.
She's not a minor.
Is minor 18 or 21? Because I'm 19. I'm like right in the middle.
You're not a minor. 18 lower than 18 would be a minor.
Oh my god, it was a joke. It's not that deep.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I can't tell when you joking.
Yo, you really got the headiest people in a podcast to talk about it was just a joke. Like, we weren't gonna take that so seriously.
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
Now though, like with the whole music thing. Gosh, I don't remember if I told you guys this one, but I think it was either a year ago or a year and a half ago. I was trying to take care of like an elective or something, so I decided I would take like a jazz class, like not necessarily not playing an instrument, but like I thought it would be like the history of jazz, like an art history type class. I walk in and the teacher goes, "Oh, by the way, you're going to learn how to listen to jazz, and identify specific things in the music," and he goes off on like this huge tangent about like tempo and chords, and I'm like sitting here in my chair going, what is this?
Oh.
Music.
So I'm like sitting there going, okay, calm down, you're gonna be okay. Just try and like, you'll get yourself used to it. You'll just try and pass. Then I find out I didn't need that class in order to graduate, so I dropped out after like a week, and I felt bad because I like had this whole conversation with the professor of like saying, oh, I'm fast, I'm gonna do this and that. And it's like, oh wait, by the way, I don't need this. Bye.
Music theory is deep. And it's amazing how beautiful it can get. Like, the mathematics of music theory is absolutely insane. Yeah.
It's just a whole other language.
My father's a professional musician, so he plays in bands and stuff like that. So he occasionally talks to me about music theory and stuff. And I learned how to play piano. I can still read sheet music and figure out the fingering and stuff like that. I haven't played in forever just because I haven't had the time. And it hasn't been the best conditions to play music at my house currently. But he'll talk music theory to me, and I'm like, especially jazz music theory is like off the walls, like bonkers. And I am just astounded that, you know, you can take music and you can just go all sorts of directions with it, and it's truly, truly beautiful. I would say that Sarah's probably got the hardest art job out of any of us.
Honestly, don't say that while I cry over No Tail's toe. No, you're right. No, you're totally right.
The music theory alone will break a grown man. I'm not like, that's an interrogation tactic right there.
Yeah.
Also, like, she's gonna have to deal with me being like, I want it to slap. Like, how do we make it slap? And like having no like professional music vocabulary. Yeah. Like, I'm so sorry.
Like, can you do that thing with the violins again?
Yeah, or like so.
Yeah, like do the thing with the violins, but make it hit different.
well, figure it out. We'll figure it out. It'll be good.
We will have a dialogue.
But yeah, like music theory.
Yeah, you're gonna have to teach me like music stuff so I can like have a better vocabulary.
I'm down. Music theory lessons with Sarah. Let's go.
New YouTube series. Let's go.
Yeah.
Music theory though is deep because I don't know how it is at like other colleges, but my college had a 2-year music theory requirement of like just intensely learning music theory for 2 years. And then because I was a composition major, like every composition private lesson that I had was basically like, here's music theory, here's how we talk about this, here's how we talk about that. And like every class built off of music theory. And so at the end of like my 4-year degree that I kind of squished into 3 years because going engineering for a year, but like, yeah, it's mind-blowing, and that's what the silence is. It's the sound of my mind like not knowing even how to sum it up concisely. It's music theory gets deep.
Yeah, we're all about
Did Sit end up talking about her thing?
No,
Nope.
I've been chomping at the bit waiting to talk about myself for half an hour.
Oh, I'm sorry.
buddy.
I have 2 moods. Mood 1 is I don't exist, and mood 2 is I am going to talk about myself.
Yeah, it'd be
But
like that.
I honestly now that I have the spotlight, I literally don't know what to say because
Oh my god!
I know where I can go with it because like somebody mentioned earlier about like not having the patience to learn to do a thing, and that to me is 2D art because I love 2D art, and you see some banging 2D art on the Twitter TL and be like, yeah, I want to do that, and then I'll like grab my sketchbook, draw a circle, and be like, never mind, because it's just too much. It's like, the second it doesn't come out exactly like how I want, I'm done.
Me though.
And which is funny because it's like the crossroad of I don't have the patience to do 2D art and I like bitty game is what led me to 3D modeling in a sense because I'm really good at computers. I'm a computer science major. I like to program. I like to dev game. I like to do all of that. But when it came to the part where it was like, oh, okay, you have to make sprites for your games. Like, I can't. And I didn't want to wait for Tangle to do it. So I was like, what if 3D games? So I started learning the 3D model. But, you know, there's that. Prompt me with something, Tangle. I want to talk about myself more.
you also do fursuits though. I think that counts.
I also that was another. I
Cringe
love
alert! Cringe alert!
Shut up, Bionicle.
You think about Bionicle as a lone woman.
Oh my god.
I mean, look, it's equally cringe. Okay,
Okay,
you
fine,
have no. You're throwing stones in glass
Bionicle
Bionicle
fursuit
houses.
win.
Ooh,
No.
Sit, I will pay you for a
Yo,
Bionicle
I
fursuit.
literally
Oh,
don't
Lord.
think. You know what? We'll talk. But anyway,
Sweet.
He
Fursuits
has
was
the
another-
cash.
Yeah, he definitely does. But Fursuit Making,
Yeah,
which
I'm
I
loaded.
do.
What can I say?
No, you cannot have the link. Is basically. It's another extension of like I want to contribute to the furry ethos somehow, but I don't have the skill to do 2D art, and making 3D models takes too long to justify doing it like as a commission type thing. So I was like, well, I'll make fursuits. And originally, I only made the first fursuit that I ever made because I couldn't afford to buy one from the people I wanted to buy one from. But I made the first one, and I was like, okay, I actually enjoyed that, and I can make hella money. So now I do it as like a side business. So yeah, there's
She
that.
made my suit.
Yeah, I made Cyan. That was one of the.
I love her.
Yeah. You love her. I don't.
I love her
It's
so
like that
much.
artist thing where like you do the art and then you're like, I hate it.
Yeah, you kept saying stuff like that, and I was like, see, this is how I feel when
now
I
I
like
get it.
show you a sketch and then I hate it.
Because like I'll look at it and I'm like, all I see is all these freaking mistakes. It's...
Yeah.
I wonder how that
Felt-
feels. I produce nothing but gold.
Oh yeah. Boy.
We love to see it.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, we support that. But me writing, which again, with the exception
Yeah.
being.
She never finishes anything, but she writes.
Shut up!
Oh,
I'm
you
gonna
gotta
get
s-
to
you
that.
gotta
I'm gonna
hit me
get
with
to
some of
it.
that.
Okay, look. Me, first of all, outside of the scripts for the visual novels that I am currently working on, I do not write original things because I am simply not interested in doing so. I write almost exclusively fanfiction, and I am very passionate about it, but to me, the way I view the creation of fanfiction, if I write something and it is not up to like the highest possible standard obtainable by law, it is a disgrace to its source material and it cannot be released. Which is why I write a lot of things.
That's what drafts
and
are for,
see
you
very few of the
dingus.
things. I know, but I feel some kind of way. Like, okay, I'm working on. It's gonna be cringe. I'm sorry, y'all. It's gonna be cringe, but I'm working on a couple of like. No, not a crossover. I'm working.
Go
on,
back.
Like, a couple of League of Legends fan fictions at the moment, and I'm like, imagine. Statistically unlikely, but if I post one of those fan fictions and like let's say one of the people from the Riot lore team sees that fic and reads it and thinks it's cringe, that's gonna be my cue to die. So I can't live like that.
No.
So it has to be literally perfect or I don't want it out there.
That's a terrible mindset. That's a terrible mindset.
I know.
I know.
All art ever produced by its own creator. I know I said earlier only I do is produce gold, but everybody that produces art is gonna sit there and look at it and go, you know what? It probably isn't good enough. Like even Michelangelo, when he finished the Sistine Chapel, even talked about how he didn't like it as much. Like he wished that it was better. Even though we look at the Sistine Chapel now and we're like, damn, that's a pretty good, roof painting there, Michael. And
Michael.
so like it's very easy to sit there and go, man, what I produced is not good enough. But it oftentimes it is, because we're going to be our own worst critic when it comes to our own art, because we're going to see the flaws that went into it and the suffering and the pain and the hurt. But to someone else, they might not see that, and all they get to see is the joy and the good things and the humor and the enjoyment they get from consuming what we have produced as artists. So you can sit there and go, man, those League of Legends nerds, when they see my cringe fic, they're just going to hate it. In reality, they might sit there and go, you know what? It is so honoring to have produced something that people love so much that they want to make their own content for it. And that is so awesome to be able to sit here and know that people love my product that much. They wanted to make product on it too. So
Also, if people can be out here writing Septiplier fics, I think you good, Chief.
Oh, wait,
I
I was
think
gonna
anything
say,
you
yeah.
make will
Like-
be good.
If people out here writing Una's honest pairing fics, I can post my little fics too.
Bruh.
wait, Uno
Okay, but
BTS
but
fics.
Uno anus.
anus.
No!
Okay, but sit. Is it a ship fic though?
Okay, one of
The
them
League of
is,
Legends
but
ones
only
aren't.
with canon pairings, and one of them is not.
So the answer is yes.
Yes, but only
Half
with a canon
yes.
pairing, because it's totally different to take a pairing that is already established canon and be like, haha, look, they cute, as opposed
It's
to
still
like,
a ship fic.
yeah, yes, okay, yeah. Okay, look, 98% of the things
I'm
I write
looking.
are shit fics. You said I am looking.
I am looking respectfully.
Most of the things that I write are going to be pairing fanfictions, but recently I have gotten into the unsung genre that is gen fics. Like, I started writing, like, some Ace Attorney stuff that was, like, gen, and I'm like, this is actually fun. But, So that's me. Also, I make 3D... I think I already said I make 3D models, but, like, there's one of the shorts we're working on right now. I won't give too much detail on it because I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but I did all the character models for it, and I already hate them, but they are so cute. They're from a technical perspective, I hate it, but, like, it looks cute.
Yeah, that works. I mean, okay, I love shipfics. I used to write a lot of Bionicle shipfics. I was like, robots must kiss. So I can't slag you writing any form of shipfic ever.
I mean,
So-
sometimes it's
Gosh,
just, like,
I don't
it's
want
for
to know what. Actually, no, I do want. No.
Okay, so like,
What are you
it
about
is
to say? Do I have to
canon
kill you for it?
that
No,
Haley-
I'm just like, how do you
Ollie-
describe them kissing? How do you describe the things with masks
It's
kissing?
not really kissing. It's not really kissing, okay? Like, some people describe the mask as, like, having more of a mouthpiece and lips attached to it, and the mask is, like, part of their face versus a natural mask that can come off. And some people describe the mask as, like, being a mask, and they show romance by, like, touching foreheads or something, like a Mandalorian.
That's cute.
I love
Okay.
that.
They, like, hold hands or kiss each
We
other's
love
hands or
that.
something. Or they push their hands against their, like, mouthpieces on the mask, but there's not, like, actual kissing. So there's different takes on the romance. Although there's some people that are like, my Bionicles are, like, fully biological, and it's like, you idiot, they're biological robots. They ain't all biological.
Yeah, doesn't that
And they're
kind of
like,
defeat the purpose?
Yeah, no, it does, but we don't talk about
Like the
that.
bio part?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have biological parts, but they're not 100% biological because they're half and half, unless you're talking about the Galatorian or the Agores on Spirus Magus, which are different, so we're not going to get into that. But they're still part of the Bionicle.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
You know what? You're mocking me, and I know it, but I'm still
No,
going to answer this. You punk.
I'm not.
Yes, you
I
did.
promise I'm not.
Yes, of course, she said matter-of-factly, not knowing what the hell I'm
No, I
talking
just
about.
sometimes, literally when people go off about stuff, it's just I support you, but you're speaking a different language, and I cannot understand it.
It's like, I trust you, but I have no idea what you just said.
I don't go here, but
Not-
are you winning, son?
not
We
to
should
interject again.
We should animate, do a Bionicle AMV one day for the studio. Just saying, it would get us some
I don't know
fans.
about that one, Chief.
Come
I
on.
don't know.
Animating Bionicle, not in a 3D setting would probably kill me, but yeah.
Okay, this is my last thing, and then I'll redirect the attention off of myself. I am a visual novel simp and stan. I love them, so if you're in the comments and you want to suggest me a visual novel to try, and it's not degen, then yes, I will try it. I'll even write a little review of it and put it up on my channel, I promise.
What is your opinion on dating sims?
Bad.
Shut up, she didn't ask you.
The Colonel
Okay,
Sanders
so...
one slaps.
Okay,
I
I have yet to...
Sims.
I
Asking
have
Oh my
yet to play-
gosh.
I have not played I Love You, Colonel Sanders yet, but I plan
So
to.
good.
And
I'm
my opinion...
literally about to.
My opinion on dating sims is if it is a visual novel with dating elements and you are classifying that as a dating sim, it's fine. If it is a dating sim where you are self-fulfilling because you are single and lonely, that's a little cringe. I'm not saying you can't do
Yeah,
it. I'm just
yes.
saying it's a little
Okay,
Unless
okay.
it's a tofu boyfriend, okay?
Tangle,
Let me have
Tangle,
this. Let me
Tangle.
have that.
Yo, Tango, I know you aren't talking Mystic Messenger, so
I literally stopped playing Mystic Messenger because I'm I literally can do better than this in real life. I'm not playing this anymore. I literally did that.
but you did have the
Sarah.
app downloaded at some point, which means your rights have been
I
invoked.
did.
We don't
Shut up.
Sarah, do you do any of that? I know you have a boyfriend, so I'm assuming you don't do any of the dating sims, right?
I don't do any dating sims by myself. However,
What does that mean?
okay, I'm gonna let me tell you. So I think this was before I started dating my boyfriend, junior year of college. A bunch of my friends texted me and were like, "Hey, come to this classroom," and I didn't know why. And so I showed up to the classroom, and they were like, "We're playing Dream Daddy, sit down." So we.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
so sorry.
I remember when that took over the freaking internet.
So
I'm
as
so
a
sorry.
group of 6 or 7 people, I have played Dream Daddy. I would never touch it by myself. And if you had told me I'd be playing a gay dad dating sim, I would have told you absolutely not. But
Wait, what was the dating sim that had the Markiplier XP?
oh
What?
gosh.
Oh,
I forget
God.
which one
I
that-
only
Please
deal
stop.
in visual
Please
novels.
stop.
so
I saw his video about that.
there was-
No, I think I know which
Yeah.
I think I know which dating
Mark.
sim you're talking about. It was
yeah,
the one that
I
had a
saw that
bunch
one and
of different
I was laughing
YouTubers.
so hard.
It had
Yeah,
it
it
had
was just parodies of them, I basically.
I think so. There was I don't think Markiplier was there. It was mostly the normal boots guys. Oh
no,
gosh.
that's a different one. There's one there's a different one that I'm talking about. But yeah, I remember that one. That one was funny.
Okay, but for seriously, if you have not played I Love You, Colonel Sanders, the KFC dating sim, you need to.
It's
It
in
is
my
actually-
Steam library.
It is an adventure and a delight, and it probably made me better both as a man and as a person.
Hatoful boyfriend's better.
You're gonna say that no matter what.
Yeah, I will.
I was gonna say my first
Bird simp.
stream back is gonna be Bug Snacks. My second one is gonna be I Love You, Colonel Sanders.
Thank you.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, there's
I think
also a T-Rex dating sim I saw a while back.
What on
That one was
earth?
cute.
I think as a
Blush
studio,
Blush is a
we
dating
should
sim,
get together and watch the new Colonel Sanders romance flick.
Oh my
With,
gosh.
What?
Mario
That should be
Lopez.
a Patreon reward.
Yeah,
TBH.
yeah.
If you pay this much, I will sit here and look at it.
The next,
Wait, is that
wait,
that's an actual thing?
Yeah, yep.
I wanted to watch it for
Yeah,
free,
I
but
don't.
you
I'm not surprised.
prostitute
was-
us for money for that. I mean, that's cool too. But...
and we got.
I mean,
I
you do
think
that
they
all the
actually wanted
time
me to
because
do
you're
it for free.
loaded. So
Okay, yeah. Listen, just because I have money doesn't mean you can bring it up every 5 seconds.
you bring it up every 5 seconds. Shut up.
I'm sorry, but is this a peasant joke I'm too rich to understand?
We're
Yes.
jealous of your
I'm
fat
going to kill
stats.
you with an enchanted sword in Minecraft.
Has to be like, what is it, Monster Slayer 4?
I literally don't know anything about
It needs to
potions
be
in
a
Minecraft.
sexy
I was like,
sled
I just
for
want to
it
hit things.
Potions and enchantments are not the same thing. Get out.
I just want to hit things, so I never touched any of that stuff.
I have a
Tangle
Minecraft
has been
sword in my
booted.
closet.
Tangle has been booted from ThornForge for not knowing the difference between potions and enchantments.
No.
So this
Then
video
I'll
now-
see myself out. I know nothing about Minecraft other than I make flint and steel and then run around setting everything on fire.
I mean, you're
We
valid.
stand.
That's Breath of the
That's
Wild.
That's queen stuff.
Yeah, you on that queen stuff for real.
Okay. I don't want to
I want to see the bees.
wrap us up, but we have hit 57 minutes of recording time, thereabouts.
Oh.
I think
I could be
do we want
savagely
to wrap up?
wrong.
Like, what's a normal podcast length?
Like, depends
the
on
ones that I've
podcast.
seen tend to be an hour to 2 hours.
Okay, here's what we
typically.
should do. We should end this one soon, like in the next 5 or 6 minutes, and we should ask people in the comments if they prefer longer podcasts or shorter podcasts.
Okay, we can do that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, I do have work in the morning, so yeah, I probably can't stay
Yeah, and I
like
have
forever.
class. Yikes.
Oh, you actually have to work.
Yikes.
Pathetic.
Yeah, imagine working.
Yeah, some of us
Imagine
have
having a
hard-working
job.
jobs.
Speaking of, just so the people podcast know, I might not be here for future ones because my deployment date just got moved up.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'll be leaving probably mid-February at this point.
Dang.
They
Dang.
changed it
Oh.
again, so if might be here for another 1 or 2, depending on how our schedules work. But after that, if I'm able to, when I'm far away, might be able to do one, but chances are it's very slim. So at least I was here for one. Got to take your wins
Yeah.
when you can.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Aw, you're gonna
Yeah.
make me cry.
Gonna miss you.
Just some days I feel like that black cop from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and it's like this is
I
nothing.
literally knew you were
man.
gonna say that. How did I know you were gonna say that?
But not
I
this man.
honestly-
Get back in there, Tier.
Honestly, talk about.
I just
Chad
remember the way he says
dads.
Flint Lockwood. Chad Dad.
He's a Chad dad.
The guy from Train to Busan, that guy was a Chad dad.
He was a Chad dad.
Oh, I literally kept calling him Thick Husband the whole time because I just freaking love him.
Yeah.
He was so good.
I don't speak this language. What are y'all talking about?
Train to Busan.
Oh, Train to
is a
Busan is a
Korean
Korean like horror. It's not
zombie.
horror. It's like
Zombie.
thriller zombie.
thriller
Okay.
horror.
Yeah.
I think the
I think it was on Netflix last time I checked. I don't know
It
if it's
still
still
is.
on there.
the
Yeah.
Koreans. I don't know how they determine their genre of films. I think it's a little different. I think that might just count as plain horror.
Also, one of the
Versus
guys who is one of the main characters, he is the lead in a K-drama called Coffee Prince. It's like from the 90s. It's like from the late 90s, early 2000s.
Bro, I'm so disappointed.
It's basically Oran, but a
I
K-drama.
really thought you were about to say Rookie Historian. I was about to be like, who? Eyes.
No, I would have. I would have
Give me
lost
Prince,
it.
though,
if it was a
horror,
K-story.
like,
Every subject on the internet at this point. Do you realize that we've talked about Markiplier? We have talked about Bionicle. We have talked about that Anus show. We have talked.
You
not.
have. You talked about all those topics.
We've talked about K-dramas. We have talked about
Yeah, boy.
DreamWorks films. We've talked about furries. We have talked about weeb crap. I mean, this podcast is a universal experience. The only thing we have yet to talk about is probably Dungeons and Dragons, and I just did it, so we can check that off.
Does that count?
That feel when you roll D20.
Bro.
I'd be rolling natural D20s all day, every day, son.
No, you don't.
Yes.
Shut up.
How do you know?
I'm
Roll
friends with Joel,
persuasion.
That's how I know.
One time here we're gonna check it off right now. One time I was playing D&D with my college buddies, and my friend who was playing an archer, I was a monk, he was playing like an archer or a ranger, I don't remember what you call it. He
Ranger.
rolled a nat 1, and then he shot me in the back of the head with an arrow, and I almost died instantly. It was great.
Oh
my
no.
gosh. It's freaking hilarious.
I just happened to be standing right in front of him when he did it, and it was bad.
I think my
Ouch.
favorite. Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
Sarah.
I was just gonna say, my first D&D character, nobody told me that when you level up, you also level up your health, and I ended up dying because like we were at level 5 or 6, and I was still at level 3 health, and so I just kind of got taken out, And then they were like,
Oh,
they looked at my character sheet and they were like, you only had 15 HP, why? And I was like, you never told me that goes up.
Yeah, that's the most confusing part for me is like the stats. Like I just don't understand that stuff.
I can make the character. It's like leveling up the character. At the end of every session, the DM had to sit me down personally and walk me through what to do because I just never really got it.
Picking
like I had to comb
spells is
through the
always
wiki and like
hardest
look at all
thing.
the cantrips
You're
or
like,
whatever. Did I say that right? I don't know.
Yeah, cantrips, correct.
It'd be like, oh, you just unlocked another feat, and I'd be like, what? Like, it wasn't.
Where do I put that?
Where on the sheet does this go?
So I actually homebrewed my own tabletop role-playing game. I actually found the docs for it again, and I actually removed like different things like that. And basically, every time you leveled up, you just got more hit points and upgrades to attack, and then you could pick a new skill that would give you different buffs, like some sort of lame RPG. But I agree that Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition magic system is pretty intensive, and that's why I hate it. Side plays things where I can bonk things with a hammer. My friends are like, oh wait, I'm
Bonk.
gonna spend preparing my spell to cast them into another world. I'm like, that's cool and all, but I just killed the skeleton because I bonked them twice in the head with a hammer.
This is why we play the
And
Warriors
that's me
Adventure
playing
game.
my barbarian half dragon.
Okay, unironically, guys, Patreon/Ko-fi reward us playing the Warriors Adventure game.
Yes, please.
Is that
I had so
wait?
much
Is that
fun.
still up? Is that site still up?
Basically, they have them in the backs of some of the books, and they did have some of them on the website. But I didn't realize we were playing D&D at the
Me
time.
neither. I was
It's
just
basically a more simplified form of D&D.
Okay, I
Yeah.
thought you meant like the actual like computer game, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's all gone.
The one where you
The
have
freaking
to,
tile game.
yes, the one where you have to like find a new home for.
Yeah,
your
that's
clan
the
was
one I thought you guys
banging.
talking about.
That hit. I died so much in that. I feel like it's not actually as complicated as child me thought it was.
We really do need to play like the Warriors D&D one though, because that one mission. I remember you had this one book where like the mission in the back was like you had to go into this like pop-up veterinarian clinic and you had to like save the cats by busting them out of the cages. I remember we must have died like 7 times trying to get. I don't think we ever succeeded.
Yo, that hit different.
I know that
though.
isn't Rain making her own like warrior homebrew thing?
She's working on something.
Yeah, and I'm so excited for it because I
Yeah.
already have a character.
I need to think about which old character I should like rehash for it.
When I
Gosh,
come back in
I
a
have
few
to-
months,
I have
let me know
to-
if it's going on, and I'll pop in.
Yeah.
I have to admit right now, I did one of my first OCs was a cat that I made that was the daughter of Scourge, and I just have to I have to give myself that L.
Bro, I cut myself on that edge though.
Yo, hold on though. Scourge getting it? I didn't think so. Like, hold on a
Oh
minute.
my gosh,
Yeah, I can't imagine Scourge ever having kids. Sorry.
yeah. Sorry, Scourge.
Sorry,
Close it
Scourge, you
out
died a
here.
virgin.
Cutting ourselves open on the.
Oh yeah. We should probably wrap up because we're at an hour and 5 minutes. So I'm gonna do a quick outro because I'm actually good at those.
I want to say our viewers, our listeners or viewers, whatever the word is, might appreciate listening to us ramble on like this. But I'm tired. I want to go to bed.
I'm sleepy. All right, I guess we're gonna.
Wait,
we're
what are we gonna call our followers though?
The Jake Paulers.
The Ford.
No.
Okay, the
No.
Thorns.
No. I feel like that ain't it. No.
You know what? We can come up with that some other time. But unfortunately, I never practiced.
They might make their own name.
Yeah, that's my But
Y'all make your own name.
I never practiced the art of
No.
organically ending a podcast, so I guess I'm just gonna say we'll call it there. Thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna put our socials.
Shut the frick up.
Yeah, dang it! Shut the frick up. Shut up. Our socials are going to be in the description as well as at the beginning of the video, so you can go ahead and try and find those, but they're also going to be in the description, so don't worry about it. If you enjoyed, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe. Don't subscribe. Definitely don't dislike though. Don't do that.
Can we get 5 million likes?
Thank you for that. But share it with your friends, share it in your Discord servers, share it at your job at a big box store that you don't want to have. Share it everywhere you can if you enjoy it. Were we aiming to make this a weekly thing or like a bi-weekly or monthly? Like, what was the plan there?
I would like to record every week how often they actually get posted really depends on how fast and how
Yeah.
convenient it is for you to edit these.
Yeah, because keep in mind,
But I would like to make it a weekly thing,
For
like to
every-
record, not
for-
necessarily to post.
for every hour and 6-minute recording that we make, I have to go through here and set up spots for our sprites to move for every single one of us, which is going to be probably like 100 or 200 times 5. So it's going to take a little while, but I'm going to do it. But yeah,
I
thanks,
still have to
guys.
Good
make
luck.
half of the sprites.
Yeah,
still.
I can't do it with no sprites also. But
You have half of them already.
yeah, I do have half of them. But yeah, I guess we'll call it there. And yeah, stay frosty.
Legitimate.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Squawk.
Mm.